Hi, it's been a warm day, quite a long day, and what we really want to do, Liz Allen and myself, is just tell you about what we're doing for NQT through the British Teaching Institute. We also want to get you talking as well. Liz and I can talk forever, it's quite a good thing.
Yes, we'd be lucky to get to work.
But just to get this started, can you just tell us who you are and where you are and what you're teaching?
And what?
What you're teaching?
I'm Kate, I'm teaching maths.
Are you going to be here?
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, here.
Are you here or are you going to start in September?
Starting in September.
Starting in September.
Yeah.
I'm children. I start teaching maths in September.
I'm Holly, I start teaching maths in September.
Oh.
I'm Rebecca and I'll be doing school direct from September in
Yeah.
English. So I thought it would be good.
Are you teaching here?
Yeah. I'm Hannah and I'll be teaching English starting in September.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're from the same school. I'm a lead practitioner in the English department, but also CPD in the school.
I'm Colleen, I'm a lead practitioner in science, but we run a lot of the NQT programs.
And you're both oral as well.
Holy
Holy
Trinity,
Trinity across
just
town.
down the street.
It's
Okay.
really lovely to have you with us as well, because you can give real perspective, value perspective on what this programme looks like, the value it can bring.
We're blessed. We think we actually run a series of courses. And if you can see in the distance, we run an annual course for head teachers. For fun. We run the Pension Department. We run one day CPD. For example, I'll go on about history because I teach history. We had a really brilliant day on the Napoleon Declaration last week. And we do new teacher subject days, which we really like now. And the subjects we teach are all the sort of traditional mainstream subjects in the curriculum. Now, Prince Charles had an idea in 2001 saying, oh, what about English literature teacher? Can we do something about that? Might there be some agreement? So for all the small group, I was called in to look after history. And we started off with English literature history. We ran some schools, 3-day residential, usually in very nice places. And they grew and grew and grew. And eventually we went English, history, science, maths, geography, science, and then MFL came on quite recently, more recently, art and music. So we got all the subjects, and we had some schools for all of them. And we were in Holmeston College in Cambridge a couple of weeks ago with science, maths, and geography. So then we got a splendid and co-director called Chris Pope, whose name, not main job, we thought one was to raise money, but it helped with the Brits to keep us independent. And Chris Pope said, let's do NQT courses. Let's do 6 Saturdays in a year. I've said this many times, I said, Chris, we don't. Nobody will turn out 6 Saturdays in a year. But he was right. We started out in Biffley at Biblical Academy, and we're now 700 in Harrogate, Rockingham, Cambridge, and I was in Durham and Birmingham, and then another school, Quaker Hospital School in London too. So we've got 700 people in your position, and they do these 6 days, and they have 2 or 3 really good lectures on key topics. A really good experienced teacher leader who says, oh, you listen to that subject, what do you think? Then sharing the practice. And when you look at the evaluations, because we do evaluations daily, we'll probably get 90 to 95% upwards grading that are very hard work.
We'll show you those evaluations.
Now, who are we? That's me. I did a history degree and I went to this grade school. And I went with R&D type in this grade school, which was quite an interesting experience because I went to head of department. I didn't know how to do the actual verification classes. But I struggled with the class, but very supportive as well. And survived that when I was executive head with the pension as a child. And I say to everybody, the greatest job in education because it was a wonderful school and a very advantaged part of North Oxford, so full of rectors who wanted to do really well, but we weren't like our promise. Anyway, I did that for 22 years or more, and gradually I just did private books, and we got one book which I co-authored, which I think is quite an important book, but it's not selling very well. It's called Knowledge of the Future School. The message is a very profound message, I like to think. You cannot be a good teacher unless you know stuff. And this is true of any school in England. And every school should take subject expertise seriously, and if they don't, then the social justice issue and youngsters in those schools, 20th century, seriously move that. And then I was just saying to Liz, I could go about Israel, we're just publishing at the end of the year about, it's called A Generation of Radical Change. The question is asking where were you in 1988, where you thought of. In 1988, government took control of education and left it to schools. And that was actually a really significant revolution in the education system. Now, it's very different to the one I grew up in. And this book is a reflection on that change. It's really good media and published. So that's me.
That's Martin. I will say, Martin, we've asked this question of the two groups of sort of middle and senior leaders that we've had today, where were you in 1988? I think the answer we'll get this time is nowhere. We had 5-year-olds last time.
Now it's you.
The discussions that we've had, so you've heard a lot of this, the discussions that we've had with our other groups were about why are we coming into teaching? I'm going to ask you that same question a little bit later on. And there are two reasons for why people come into teaching. Either they had such exceptional teaching, really wonderful, they were inspired by their teaching that they felt that they wanted to do that for other people, or they had such lousy teaching that they knew they could do it better. I'm of the second school, having gone to Southfields Very Technical School for Girls, which is probably the worst school in the country at the time, and thankfully now has been demolished. But we found in our last group, when we asked the same question, that all of those who'd been to dreadful schools, most of them said the same thing, thankfully now demolished.
My Harrow School, which is quite a nice school, is demolished too.
So there's a pattern emerging there. So I hope in my heart of hearts that the school you went to is still standing because you had such a wonderful time there that it's still going strong. I didn't go, obviously Birkbeck College at the University of London is the old workers' college, so I was working full time, and I got my degree in English when I was 40. And when I was head of the English department at the time, I thought I'd better know more about it than I did. I'd done other things, I had other qualifications. I have taught in every kind of school and loved everyone. Just every school is a gift, and every school somewhere where you can make something beautiful. And I hope I have in each of those schools. And 2 headships, one in a church and comprehensive school that had a rough time and had 40% empty places because it had suffered 4 young people who had died on the school journey. And when that happens, it takes the life out of literally, and so I took it on a couple of years after that and had to rebuild back up on, so which was a significant important challenge. Promised to leave the school when we heard our first appeal for a place in year 7. Had to be true to my word 8 years later. I went to a girls' selective school in London Borough of London, Euston Wood School. My friends thought that would be, I was going from a big challenging school to one that would be a very easy ride. What I always say to folks is, here we are, we're in a room full of extremely able, intelligent females. I expect when you were a child, your parents found you challenging. Is that fair enough? Probably hungry for knowledge and interested in things, exploring things, demanding. Your teachers might have found you challenging as well, maybe. Newstead has 1100 of you, and that's a challenge. I promise you it's a challenge to feed hungry minds, to aspire, and also to cope with that mindset of being able adolescent females, that unless it's perfect it isn't good enough. Do you know all that stuff? you will understand all of that. So that was a huge nurturing job to do there. Loved every minute of it. And now I work for a multi-academy trust in the North-West that is committed to taking, has a moral responsibility to take on vulnerable schools, vulnerable secondary schools that no other multi-academy trust wants. And that's even more challenging for us. So I came into the Prince's Teaching Institute because those first subject days, like the one that you've experienced, the first in English and history, and I found out about them when I was a head teacher, and from the very first one I set my heads of department on them because it's the best food that I could possibly give to nurture them. And so the acknowledgement for doing all of that work was to be invited to be part of the academic steering group. Now, my baby on the academic steering group, because we each take the lead of the programme, and Martin leads the subject days, we've started a new area of exploration, which is invocational learning, which is my passion, because Newstead know it is a specialist engineering school, and I'm passionate about driving true vocational learning, which is not in a hierarchy with academic learning. It is different. It requires a different set of really significant skills. So that's my pitch of introduce this activity.
Now, this is where we want to get you involved. We know who you are, you know what your subject is. Now, why are you passionate about it? And once you've got going and you feel like you've told the teacher, are you going to keep your knowledge up to date? And you all know each other very well, because we could have groups of three. Could you join and make a group of three? And if you could, we're then going to ask in 5 minutes, what have you learned from your colleagues? Not fortunately. So if you could just have a discussion on those two subjects.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, yes.
We have right now.
So are you starting in September? So I'm Steph Smith. My subject is I'm passionate about it.
I think there was a purely just a presentation or a breakdown
encourage others to take that and see the value of it. Actually, I'll keep my subject knowledge up to date by continuously researching, reading about schools and students' work. It should timetable be permitted, observed afterwards and stuff. And it should just content be available.
The head's got very well, we said, watch your backs.
Yeah.
We couldn't trust the academics what they were up to.
Where are you at?
Nice thing the teacher said I would go into teachers. No, do you have a stuff? And the whole, I saw him the other day and he was like, you're a teacher.
Going to be. Yeah, that's all.
If anything comes up, my position is
My
very
successor to a job.
so they were like, oh, well, how training to. But I don't know whether I feel that's the same for back to school.
Yes.
Whereas this space is
I think in specific subjects.
when I was
Teaching
and
school.
and I think it's the full tour because nobody the way they timetable. Someone went into this, someone went into that, tour.
Well, we might think so, yeah, of course.
I haven't seen the keys part. Is that not important? So, because I taught gymnastics at the local legislature,
Sorry, I'm supposed to use this. I'm
a
sorry.
lot of students already. I knew a lot of Hazelwood and I knew a lot of in Bourne, a lot of them there. And even some of them have said to me, and that's how so it's quite nice
And
that I
we
know.
also require them to do
You just come in.
which you're proud of. And some of them do very well.
I also do that.
I think it's
Kind of show it, but then because that's the thing I said after I received the phone call, if you wanted to
I'm very interested by this. We'll have to school based teacher training. I can see what's
they've been so busy that nobody was actually do too much. This is how we do it here, so I'm just literally shadowing.
But that's my worry. That really is very
And guys, when do I get access to this? They're like, oh, you probably won't have access to this skills training. And I'm like, how many is there anything about my
Do you have does this put out with links with any university?
And yet, every
So there's
like, as part of London, they said, get as organised as you can, set up folders in your inbox, do this, that, and the other.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I just feel a bit of a heel jumping into people's conversations. But what we would like you to do now, if you would please, is not answer these questions for yourself, but tell us what you've heard has really interested you and engaged you from what anybody else has said in your discussion. What struck you in some of ways?
Is that amongst ourselves or
No,
to you?
no, to everybody. No, to everybody. To everybody. So we just share a bit of the interesting stuff that you've been listening to.
The fact that you were particularly supported by your maths teacher all the way through year 7, and that you found that inspirational, and that's where you've come today.
Yeah.
But that was quite unique with that subject, with it being maths. Yeah.
Yeah. I found it quite interesting that you said that you liked English because of the history behind the English class. There wasn't just like kind of bringing the two things together, it wasn't just.
We've had some discussions with some more experienced teachers about that understanding about the intrinsic fascination and quality of the subject, but also the extrinsic, the fact that you know what you feed on for yourself from the subject, but then how that allows you then to feed others, and not just in your subject, but to become a significant person in a young person's life. Yeah, and that, I think that's saying, we might well have our passion for our subject, but it's that particular passion, but we are also passionate people about a lot of things. Anything else that you heard?
I found it interesting that the degree wasn't in maths next year, and then you discovered that you went back to maths.
So I'm going to come on to that in a minute. Yeah, that's interesting. Yes. Yeah. I have a confession to make that I'm the same as well, because I've shifted subjects, and I don't think we need to be passionate just about one subject. We can share our passion across different disciplines. And my favourite couple of teaching years was when I was teaching A-level English, drama and religious studies, 22 hours a week. That was good stuff.
I tried teaching English literature. And on my teacher practice, we used to go away. I used to teach training in Oxford, and we sent away for a term. was down in Kent. I was teaching a really difficult year 9. I was teaching Conrad. I hated the book, and they hated the book. And my tutor was coming down, and I said, look, my career is in your hands. He's coming tomorrow to see my hands. And they were absolutely unbelievable. And after that, mayhem. And I thought to myself, teaching English is not my forte.
We're interested in that other area as well. This can be personal or what you've heard. Do you have a thought about keeping up with your subject knowledge? Because I couldn't teach A-level classes in any of those subjects now without going back to university. Well, not going back, we're going to university, which would be a joy. But when I first started teaching, there was a wonderful head of chemistry who was retiring a little early. She was in her late 50s. And so why you're the most amazing teacher I've ever seen. And she was a PhD chemist, and she said, Liz, I'm teaching my A-level students stuff that was beyond the scope of my PhD 40 years ago. So I am no longer in a place where I can do justice to my subject. So it's important to us that we have opportunities. So what are your thoughts about how you're going to keep at the top of your subject?
Because a prior question, what level are you comfortable teaching next year? Could you teach year 12?
I'm going to have to. It's on my timetable.
Or
You
year
see, I
tw-
would argue you should, and
Yeah.
as head teachers, there's a school of thought amongst head teachers that, when people new to teaching, you better give younger students, but actually no, because the newer graduates are the best A-level teachers. For just the argument I made, they are the best A-level teachers because they're top of their subject game. It's fresh, top of their minds.
I think.
What? Sorry.
I was just going to say, actually, I think that's true because some of the texts that I'm going to be teaching next year for year 7 and 8, I'm rereading them this summer, just to refresh because I've been focusing on the texts that GCSE and A-level and university, they study them. It's quite interesting.
There's an interesting question is, whatever your degree, and I went to one of supposedly one of the best universities in the world, but I did not have a clue about what I was teaching in my first year. I had to do a huge amount of reading. There are great gaps in my knowledge. I wish Princess Teaching Institute existed now. But the question is, how are you going to keep up your...
How are you going to feed your subject, feed yourself?
I think a sheer amount of reading over the summer is going to have to be the bulk of it. We were saying, providing there is time on the timetable to try and observe practitioners who you know are particularly good at certain areas, and then providing the funding's there, see if there's any CPD courses that we can attend to bolster or add on to.
What about, have you thought about subject associations?
No.
Are any members of your subject association?
Because there's a superb one for maths, a superb one for English.
And they'll provide quite a lot of material.
And the big value is the networking. Networks are so important to you. You've got, it's a big school and you have strong staff teams and other schools will have a staff team, but actually we're fed by that sort of wider circle as well. So networks are crucial, and as Martin rightly says.
Yeah. The Historical Association around their best, they have a magazine called Teaching History, which is absolutely full of ideas about how to teach well, and then there's history, which is more scholarly, which sort of keeps you in touch with how the scholarship is. And I think the ASE in science, I didn't know about maths, but obviously
English is strong, yeah.
English is strong.
And lots of open lectures as well. University of London, in English I know more about it. Lots of open lectures at the university. If you're in touch, if you've got your connections, you can get into all sorts of things. And if your university is close at hand, and you're an alumna of it, get them to send you stuff, and they'll very often let you sit in undergraduate lectures as well. Just keep yourself up to speed. But Martin will sell the PTI programme to you, which is...
Just before, have you heard about the the TES resources. Are
Yeah,
very,
that's like a godsend.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
It is, and groups earlier today of experienced teachers were saying how much they value sort of social media because for primary sources, because people like De Soto and others at the top of their game in maths, for example, are great tweeters and active in social media, and that gets you to primary sources rather than having to read in your lonely cell, as it were. And you can get into dialogue, and we know conversations are the source of all best learning, for your students in the classroom, but also for you as well. So, we encourage you to find those.
Shall we just whiz through what
Do you want to
PGI
go?
does?
Yeah. Do you want me to go on my clip? We talked about these sort of things we were looking at, which we were looking at. So Martin's going to take you through the feedback that we get from the Princess Teaching Institute subject days.
It is, the first principle is subject specialist teaching matters, and you've got to be on top of your game. So, very, very important, having been to these 6 days, is your confidence improved. And as a PTI colour coding, red is bad, dark cream olive is good. I think mild colour, that's the colours I see. And as you see here, there was quite a lot of worry about teaching the topic, and then it's increased very considerably. And then we asked head departments, the people who they've said what they think, and again, really strong, better, or much better. Okay? And what effect does that have on the way you think about the way you teach? Are you more excited really did something that was wrong that day, but on the whole, it was really successful? What tends to go wrong very seldom, it does go wrong. We have a lecturer who doesn't get the level right and leaves people puzzled. And then, are you going to update subject knowledge? Yes, 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 it's the message. Mostly. And then, these are the residentials we run. These, we really do go to these in a year or two's time, because they're 2 nights, 3 days, but they're pretty intense.
This is the next step when you've been teaching a couple of years.
And again, do you feel better about what you're doing? Yes, yes, yes. Do you think you'll be a better teacher on the whole? Yes, yes, yes. And if you see, we've been doing this since 2008, and on the whole, the picture is pretty similar.
The initials are subjects, which I think you can work out.
Yeah, there's maths, science, human structural history, modern languages, and
I think it's worth commenting, Martin, about the maths, because we tend to get less confident responses to maths. And what we discovered, and it really concerns us hugely, is that a lot of people are teaching maths who are not maths graduates. And that's really pretty common, and I think it's sort of increased by the Teach First kinds of programs. In fact, actually this year, one of our regional NQT maths groups, we were so concerned about it that actually we handed it over to the National Mathematics Association to help step in, because we were pitching it to maths graduates, and these people were often people who were teaching other subjects that had found maths on their timetable when they arrived.
I think a lot of my cohorts for PE were struggling to find jobs, and literally got a job if they agreed to take 50% maths.
Yes.
And the sad thing was,
That's interesting.
they went into the degree not getting any funding because they picked a non-priority subject,
Yes.
and then end up,
Found themselves without a job.
and it's, well, they've got a job, but it's 50% maths, and it's
Yes.
like, well, if you were going to go and be a maths teacher, someone should have paid for the funding
Yes.
that you've just spent training to be a teacher.
Yeah, we talk, Martin and I particularly, but others talk about this a lot, and it concerns us about, you know, the morale of teachers, that they're in these circumstances, and we as, you know, very experienced, long-standing school leaders reflect on the fact that would we have put a newly qualified teacher in that position.
Yeah. I think obviously before my friends took the offer, they'd obviously seen prior GCSE and A levels that they'd taken maths, so their knowledge of it was pretty high.
Yeah.
And I guess it wasn't like they accepted the job and then suddenly they turned around and said, oh, by the way, I think it was quite apparent at the start what they were being offered.
We understand that, but actually, you know, your first year as a teacher, there's a lot to take on. There's a lot, you know, as you are highly committed to it and are intense about doing your best job, in your first subject, in a subject that you're, you know, top of your list, there's a huge amount still of commitment and preparation, whatever to do. If you add a layer to that, is to do prepare lessons and get to grips with the subject and belong to two departments even, you know, just the demands of being in two departments. Certainly I feel that school leaders need to recognise that in some way or
The demand for maths courses is going up. We've got some very good maths leaders, and we get Peter Redson, who's president of the Maths Association. He comes in a lot.
Yeah, then they are. The maths courses at PTI are superb. Actually, Martin and I go to, or one of us goes to each of these days, and we can sit in whatever we want, and my maths is improving leaps and bounds, and I really enjoy the workshops. It's superb, absolutely superb.
We had one which was about maths of architecture, and everybody was given compasses and pieces of paper as they came in. And again, I'm good.
Yeah, okay. And this is again the heads of department programme, which you will want to...
Once you've done your summer school, we say to everybody, would you like to do some research? And I think probably 9 out of 10 say they do. And the research is to pick up something which has occurred during the summer school, and then they carry it through for a year, and then they go and meet up again the following June. Firstly, some really interesting research is done, but as a way of creating a network. I would strongly recommend you at the start of your careers build up networks, build up your support systems, whether they're teachers associations, or I think you're going to have a very strong network in Oriel. But Oriel is probably the greatest school in the world. Nonetheless, there are lots of other schools as well, and things are done differently. And I think there is a danger of school-based teacher training, which seems to be expanding very fast, that you just become very good at the pedagogy of that school. There's a huge amount of other issues out there. So, on the whole, much the same picture. I've been part of PTI, and what is growing is a sense of the future challenge and great better standards. The answer on the whole is yes, yes, and yes. Right. Okay, I think we want to now go over to you, don't we? And how are you what are your priorities for this coming year?
We'll go back to that slide, can't we, Martin? So just bear with me a minute. Back to this one, the bottom two questions that we want you to just have to think about now.
And we'd like them to do that could you do that in your threes again?
Yes, in your threes. Just think about where do you want to feel yourself being in this time next year, in July, the end of your year, and what do you think will be the major challenges for you, but also what do you think will be the major opportunities. So just have a little reflect and then share those.
I think mine was slightly different in the sense that it's a job that they make understand that the lady I'm covering might come back early, and then I don't get to complete my NQTs, and I'll have to go to another school. So, then there's the thing that if I do complete it, then I'm looking for another job. I'm not an NQT, so I'm not going to be as advertising for them, because technically I should be able to ask for a slightly higher wage, and then I'll be up against NQTs who are going to prospect, so then the schools are going to, I don't know, yeah, and like here I'd agreed that I'd love to help out with fixtures, which is kind of expected with a PE teacher. But I don't have any
Yeah, we're
reflecting
reflecting on yeah, it's really good.
I said, oh, that there should be funding.
Just for me, I think, I don't know if
CPD,
I
so,
work
but
because I think
the license, the
putting
university
NQT
got here, you have to be on the HGV
unless they were anchored with
license, which costs like £1,000. They're not going to invest in me if I'm
I
not
think
going
the
to be here
content
long
of that
term.
would be amazing.
So it's like things that I could have gained in my first year at a school where the position is more permanent, I may not be able to help them. Yeah. So, and what I'm most scared about is having just done the lecture on behaviour management, is setting down all that groundwork with those students, doing that report, and then saying goodbye to it all and having to start all over again, especially in other schools.
Yes.
But I guess that's what I should have anticipated, knowing that the position I was going for. Well, yeah, PCE, it's done, and it's health and social care visa. So, but yeah, so, yes, that's what I'm thinking. And the lady who's going on maternity leave, she's in charge of a particular event that they run called Rock Challenge. And she emailed me the other day and said, how do you feel about taking this on? I'm like, my NQT. I said, well, I'll happily support, or if there's another person, if there's another person in the tea department who will do it, I can support them. More experience, she said, there won't be anybody else who will take it on. But she was like, I can give you the guidance. I was like, what the hell is this doing? Because I'm kind of thinking, like I said, if I can do that in a job, who knows, they might go right. Yeah, exactly.
This is A-level physics. They were not confident in being able to explain
That means that I think is
even the concept.
spending that first chapter, knowing your way around the school, grounding in a routine early on. And I guess because the school is quite unique in terms of like the mentor system, is vertical. Getting your head around that, because if you've never experienced that before, that might be a challenge, knowing how your year 11 responds with your year 7s if they do it.
All 5 years of life.
Yeah, that's going to be, because you're going to have GCSE who are going to be under a lot of stress. You're going to have year 7s who are probably anxious because they've started in this school, and then you don't want to leave the year 8s and 9 out because they might feel more intense. So you're quite intimidated. So that's, and I don't know, opportunities for me, I guess, to shine, to try and prove your worth kind of thing. But also, if there isn't anything available at the end of the year, like you say, I can work it all on the TV and show that I've gained experience in other areas. Yeah.
What they're adding to their range is more of a broader perspective of how to communicate the subject versus.
Yeah. So do you have that on your timetable yet, or you say 3? That's 3 of you.
Yeah.
3 new ones.
They've got the guests doing it.
I still know.
Yeah.
Are you the head of maths? Oh, I do apologise.
No, you're all right.
I didn't mean to.
No, you're all right.
Word on the street is that.
We've only got one person leaving, so we're
Okay.
getting bigger. We're taking over.
Yeah. Branding out.
Okay.
Um,
Look, let's, I think we should roll things to quite soon because you've worked very hard today. So, before we just start looking at these questions, could you just tell us about how you got here, what you did in terms of teacher training and how well you thought you were trained?
Where you did your training?
I did a 3-year course at Brighton. I did Key Stage 2, Key Stage 3 with English. I think you get a lot more of the teaching side than the subject side. That didn't come in really until my final year, but I loved it. But of the time in school, your placements is where you learn and you develop the most because you put it into practice and your lecturers haven't been teaching for some years.
But do you feel ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm doing my teacher training in September, but I've done a year of LSA work, which has been super because I've been on the other side. And for the last term at my school, I taught year 7 and year 7 class for a term, so I feel like I'm ready to start something.
So what would you like to teach to start off with? Which years?
I will be teaching year 7 and year 8.
That's what
I'm quite happy with that. It's nice to get started, especially with the new GCSEs. I think it's quite good that I hold back whilst everyone else gets to go. And then they can teach me how to do it.
And if there's changing subjects, do you feel your training has been good?
I was a PGC and I originally did 7 to 14 in maths and then I changed after about 2 years to straight maths.
Right, and where was that?
Sussex.
Right, and that was good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in school a lot more than I did at university. And you kind of got to the stage where you felt like going to university was a bit of a chore occasionally because it was more, you felt like you were learning more in the classroom.
Now, can I just give the counter argument? However out of touch you may have, doesn't the university give you a whole set of perspectives?
Oh yeah, of course. Like I was definitely it was really important to go to it, but sometimes it was frustrating when you were in school for 4 days and then at university for like the 5th day of the week, and then you'd be missing that lesson with year 7 or something, and it kind of like it breaks it up a bit. It got a bit frustrating because you always have to keep corresponding with another teacher and do that, and then that was what was most annoying about it.
And where were you?
I went to Brighton University, so I did the subject knowledge enhancement course as well for a year first, then year.
And how well did you find the subject answers really useful?
Yeah, really good. And it gives you a chance as well to get to know your tutors, which I found, because obviously being in place with people from Sussex University, they go to uni every Friday, whereas we didn't. And I found they have better relationships with their tutors. They could ask for any help, whereas people on our course might not have known them as well. Couldn't ask for as much help.
And where were you?
I went to Canterbury Uni, and I actually went to New Sigurd. That was my second placement, and my first one was Noel Academy in Sigurd, so completely different.
Yeah.
So,
It was a seven-acre school or secondary modern, effectively.
they'd only just merged it, all boys and girls school.
Right.
I think it was 2 years before I went there, so it was all still quite up in the air when I went.
Yeah.
So that was my first placement, so that was interesting.
But how do you feel now? Do you feel all ready to go?
Yes, actually, yeah. Yeah.
I think Christchurch, we feel, isn't it? It seems to be a lot of postgraduate citizen work.
It was really good. I went to this
Yeah.
And
I've done the schools director group through Brighton University. I'm going to be really harsh, but I thought Brighton was rubbish. Sorry. I found most of what I learned with regards to teaching and even subject knowledge occurred whilst on placement. a lot of what they said at uni, don't just stand in front of your students at the front of the class, and then they did exactly that to us. And then, as you said, the best bit about uni was your cohorts and being able to offload on them or bounce ideas off them, or say, I've experienced this last week. Like, has anybody, is that normal? Is anybody else coming across that? And yet there was no real time offered for you to do that with your cohort. So you often found in the middle of a lecture, if there was a little bit of discussion time, you somehow deviated off task and ended up talking about, I had this the other week, and I didn't feel like I could handle it as well. Anybody else, how would you have done it? So I just felt that, as you said, quite importantly, to be able to bounce ideas or hear what everybody else is experiencing wasn't available. I don't know, it was just my course, so.
That falls nicely into our hands, so, you know,
Networking.
networks are crucial.
Okay, let's have a quick go. Let's make it quick, but focus on first year of teaching. Survival, you're not allowed to say survival. You've got to be a bit more positive than that. Just 2 or 3 things. What would you, in a year's time, what would you be pleased to achieve? Let's go around the same way.
I think it's so exciting to have your own marketing, to be the one responsible in helping them to make that progress. I think it would be really good to see over the course of the year rather than the months.
And with your sons and mates?
Yeah, just to, well, it's a bit different for me, I think, because I haven't, like most of these guys, I've taught how to teach. So, even though I've got an idea, I'd like to learn from the teachers that I'll be working with.
Who will you have as a mentor?
So,
And you met her a number of times?
yeah, met her, yeah, and yeah.
This is a really hard question, is that part of survivors, obviously. I want to have managed to get a good kind of working relationship with my classes, get them to realise their potential and achieve what they're meant to achieve and better than they're meant to achieve. Yeah,
It's something that relationships are all, we've had this, always this relationship. And just, conversation is the heart of all learning, and so it's key, it's good.
I think it'd be progress more than anything. To see the progress in the children and in myself in my teaching and confidence and building relationships.
Yeah, same kind of thing, like building confidence on teaching certain topics and maybe just gathering resources so that you can teach everything the way you want to.
Well, I was saying to these lovely ladies, I'm hoping to do that good a job that a permanent position becomes available at the end of the year, because it's maternity cover. So, and then I was obviously where it says about challenges, it's then having to go through that process of interviewing all over again and building rapport that you hope to achieve in that year. You say goodbye to those students and then you have to do it all over again. So.
Could we just have a go at other challenges? What do you think of the challenges coming at you in the coming year?
I think prioritising and balancing work and your own personal, and not being afraid to say, no, I can't do that, or I don't think I've got the time for that.
We've just seen that actually asking for help.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. Martin, we all, when Martin and I meet regularly, it's Martin usually starts to say, Liz, I want to know what you think about, you know, and that's, it's okay to say, actually, I need to go fishing for thoughts and ideas, and it keeps us alive. And actually, we expect our young people to have that mindset, don't we? You know, to be hungry, to learn stuff.
Any other challenges? Any of these with classroom management? Of course, you know. Can I make a recommendation? You might think that this book was published in 1974.
Oh, yeah.
But it's by a man called Michael Martin. Craft the classroom, and you get the management from this.
It'll be your best.
The essence of classroom management has not really change.
Michael Marland.
And it is full of not just good tips, but he's driven by a very powerful philosophy of what teaching is about. And the thing I remember was, I had quickly particularly put in ahead, get to your classroom before the class, be there at the door and say hi.
And greet them.
Greet them positively.
Greet them as friends. And say to Martin at the end of the lesson, I always used to say thank you to my students. Just an acknowledgement. Thank you for listening. Thank you for contributing. Just acknowledgement. We all rise to acknowledgement. So we'd like to say to you, thank you so much for listening. 5 minutes past our sell-by date.
You can,
But I think it's a short book. And it's about someone who was an English teacher. It is a lovely book, and I don't think you can find it dated at all, except he doesn't talk about black balls and the other thing, which I think that Liz and I would say, and Liz has already said it, when I was starting, it was single thing. There was absolutely no help at all. And I was a 20-year head teacher with a head of history, did not write at all. And I was regarded by anyway, I was not regarded by him history as a good thing. So I found it very, very, very difficult. But crucial for me were the 2 other NQTs, and we did a lot of things together and compare notes. I would think you're very lucky actually for starting together. And there was this mental point which I'm sure we did very strong.
You feel very strong.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Tim is here to tell us to go home.
I'm not here to tell you to go home because I think your combined wisdom is invaluable. But thank you very much for coming and sharing it.